Good morning. Thanks, Nikki. Welcome. As you are welcome here. Visitor, friend, or longtime member, you are welcome here. With little children or your partner or alone, we joyfully welcome you here. You are welcome here as believer or doubter, as joiner or loner. You are welcome here. Feeling a part of us or not, full of energy or not, seeking a vision or a rest, you are welcome to join us just as you are. We acknowledge that we are in the Aboriginal territories of the Salish, Nez Perce, Blackfeet, and Anishinaabe people who shared the Helena Valley as hunting grounds. The indigenous story of the Helena Valley began long before the arrival of Europeans, and we honor those who walked here before us. We honor the path that they have shown us in caring for this place for generations to come. And we strive for justice and fair relations with their descendants.
Thank you, Christina. I'm leading the service today. I'm also liaison and accompanist. So be patient with me about time lags on certain things where a certain transition. Testing. Yeah, so next we're doing announcements that were not in the announcements email and also not in this bulletin. Are there any? Okay, well that was easy. All right, we are lighting the chalice now. Linda is serving as our chalice lighter today. And by the way, I am grateful for all the people that I contacted earlier this week who are helping us with this service. And thank you, Linda. Here we go. We're all together. We shall say, may we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. And now Judy is going to lead us in the hymn Peace Somewhere, and it is on the Out of Your Heart songbook on page 44.
I think it's in your heart. I think it's open your heart. I knew out wasn't quite right, but... There's peace somewhere, I can feel it in a song. I can hear it in the voices all around me. I want to be somewhere that I can sing along. I want that peace to surround me. I want that peace to surround me. I've got it right here. I want to be somewhere that I can sing along. I want that peace inside me. I want that peace inside me. Let it carry me. I want to be where I can feel that peace inside me. I want that peace inside me. Is there peace somewhere? It's a question, it's a prayer. It's a voice crying out from inside me. It's the hope for tomorrow and the answer for today. I want that peace to guide me. I want that peace to guide me. It's the hope for tomorrow and the answer for today. I want that peace to guide me. I want that peace to guide me. Leave that there. Just leave it.
Thank you, Judy. And now we're going to go to the story for all ages. Yeah.
Who wants to be a child today? Asa, come on now. Come on. Jessica and Asa. I will use the mic. Jessica will hold the mic. All right, kids. I'm good. How are you guys?
We get to see the pictures.
Good night, bat. Good night, squirrel. Oh, sorry. I've already messed it up. No wonder Mara didn't want to come down here. All right. Bat needed a new home. I have a story. Has anyone known a bat that needed a new home? I do, because I had a bat inside of my house one time, and he did not need to live in my home, so I gathered him up in a sheet, and I sent him on his way. Much like this bat, he said, "I lost my home. Can I stay with you?" said Bat. No. Sorry, we already have too many bats, the old bat said. Well, that's not very nice because they were already a bat home. They should have accepted him. "I lost my home. Can I live here?" said Bat. "Yes, but I might eat." "I might eat you," said the fox. "No, thank you," said Bat. "I lost my home. Can I share yours?" asked Bat. "No way. Bats are stinky. Please go away," said the skunk. That's something called the pot calling the kettle black. Bat searched high, Bat searched low, and Bat searched everywhere in between. Then he spotted something. The clump of leaves and sticks had a small opening with a cozy home inside. Bat could even hang from one of the twigs at bedtime. Perfect, thought Bat. Bat gathered bugs for a snack later, then he hopped up on a twig and fell fast asleep. Squirrel was dreaming of nuts, delicious nuts, crunchy nuts, snoring nuts. That's odd, but that's okay. When Squirrel woke up, she was startled to discover a bat sleeping upside down. "Excuse me, this is my home," Squirrel said to Bat. Squirrel shook Bat. "I'm going out to hide acorns. Please leave before I get back." But Squirrel had a feeling that Bat wasn't listening. To be on the safe side, Squirrel left a note. I wonder if Bat can read, or if Bat and Squirrel speak the same language. You never know. At dusk, Bat woke up and found the note. "Dear Bat, bug off. Sincerely, Squirrel." I like how it says sincerely, because bug off. "Thank you for your consideration, Squirrel." Oh, Squirrel doesn't like bugs on her bed, thought Bat. He piled the bugs in a corner, wrote Squirrel a polite reply, and then took off for bug hunting. "Sorry about the bugs. See you later, Bat." Smiley face. I send messages like that a lot. I enjoy a good smiley face. Do you? Yes. Squirrel came home a little later, ready for a good night's sleep. "See you later," she thought. "We'll see about that." Before climbing into bed, she hung out a new note outside near the opening. "Dear Bat, bats not welcome!" Exclamation point. Sincerely, Squirrel. At least they're polite about it, right? Our current administration could learn some things from Bat and Squirrel, but I digress. Hunting mosquitoes, hoppers, and stink bugs all night made Bat tired. He couldn't wait to curl up on his twig. When he got back to Squirrel's house, he saw the new note. "Dear Bat, bats welcome," because butterfly was covering not. What a nice friend, thought Bat. Communication is important. He wrote back to Squirrel. "Hi, thanks for the warm welcome, Bat." Another smiley face. It never hurts. It always makes it go down a little sweeter. "Again," said Squirrel. "Again?" said Squirrel, when Bat's snoring woke her up. Okay, snoring is a whole other thing. You get to kick people out if they're snoring. Before she left for another busy day, she wrote a more forceful note. "Dear Bat, leave my house." 2 exclamation points. Sincerely, Squirrel. Bat woke up. He stretched. Squirrel's latest note was hard to miss. Bat smiled when he read it. Okay, he thought. In the moonlight, Bat added more leaves to Squirrel's house. It nearly doubled in size. Bat was exhausted after the long night of work. Before he fell asleep, he wrote to Squirrel. These two are pen pals. "I leaved your house. Hope you like it, Bat." This reminds me of another story, which I'll share at coffee. Huh? Thought Squirrel when she read the new note. This Bat is batty. Before she left the snoring Bat to find nuts, Squirrel thought she would write one very last note. Squirrel is not in a good mood. Outside, she noticed all the new leaves. That's pretty nice, thought Squirrel. "Dear Bat, scram. Adios. Goodbye." This is a funny book. Bat woke up at sunset. He didn't see Squirrel in her bed. "Ski ram? Adios. Goodbye," read Bat. I wonder why Squirrel left. Bat flew off to find bugs. Meanwhile, Squirrel sat on a stump. She was sure her last note made Bat leave. She started to miss him. Well, this is what happens. He did fix up my house, thought Squirrel, and he writes such nice notes. Well, isn't that how things work out? While catching bugs, Bat thought about how lonely it would be without Squirrel. He started to miss Squirrel. Bat flew back just as Squirrel came home late. "You didn't leave," Squirrel shouted happily. "You didn't either," shouted Bat. "Want to come inside? I'll teach you my favorite game, said Squirrel. Sure, said Bat. Bat and Squirrel played tic-tac-toe until sunrise. That was fun. I'm sleepy, Bat yawned as he hopped up on his stick. Good night, Bat, said Squirrel. Good morning, Squirrel, said Bat. See you later, said Squirrel. But Squirrel had a feeling that Bat wasn't listening. So Squirrel left one very last note. Dear Bat, welcome to our house. See you later, your friend Squirrel. It's okay. There's some lessons about attachment styles in this story, which we can discuss later. Thank you for listening, everyone. I'll let you help me stand up. Thank you. All right.
Ken asked me to talk about why I pledge. And I was thinking back, I've been asked to do the Why I Pledge talk quite a few times over the years, and it's been for different reasons that I've come up with each time. I first started attending Big Sky UU just months after Elliot was born. And Elliot turned 18 this summer and left for college. So my time at Big Sky UU has been very, very bookended so far by his life and my child rearing years. And I remember one time I got asked for the Why I Pledge talk, and the kids were both in the car with me on our way to church, and so the whole drive-in was talking about why me with the kids, come to Big Sky UU. And so now I'm at this different place in life where I don't really know exactly what I want to fill my time with, but I've got lots of ideas, way more than I have time. And I feel like I haven't been at Big Sky UU nearly as much so far this fall. And so I was sort of thinking about, but it didn't cross my mind that I wouldn't pledge this year. And so I was thinking about several things that have happened recently. Two of our very closest family friends have moved to Canada. And I came home one day a month or so ago, and my husband said, should we seriously be thinking about moving to Canada? For all the reasons you all know. And I went into a panic. Like, I started crying, and I was like, I don't want to leave this community. And I sort of, and he and I talked to it, and we're not leaving. But I realized that there's just so many things that are the reason why I went into a panic at the thought of leaving that I love about Helena in particular, and the community we've created here. And it just has made me sort of think about even the things that I'm kind of picking and choosing where I'm spending my time right now. I thought my day to day, I got up and I went to hot yoga, another thing I feel like I really need to support, whether I make it as often as I feel like I need to or not. And then I went down to Park Ave and got some bread for the week and a coffee. And then I came here and I thought, and these are just a few of the things. I went to Grand Street last weekend and I just bought some tickets for something showing at the Myrna this week. And I thought, there's just so many things in this community that are what keeps me here, keeps me loving where I live, and Big Sky UU is a huge part of that. Whether I'm here every single Sunday or not, it's definitely important to me to put my resources into keeping this going so that anytime I do have a Sunday that I am in town and can make it, it stays here for me. So that's why I pledged this time. When you ask me again in another 4 or 5 years, it might be different again, so we'll see.
Thank you, Jessica. And now we're going to do the offering. And Thank you for your gifts this day, for all the gifts of action that make this community possible. If you are visiting, please remain our guest. Your presence is your gift to us. During this time, we will be singing Thank You for Your Loving Hands. That's on page 25 in Open Your Heart songbook.
Sure, if you want to play it. Thank you for your loving hands, your loving heart, your loving ways. Thank you for the gifts you bring into the world each day. And if you ever doubt yourself, remember us who love you well. We know all the gifts you bring into the world each day. So thank you for your loving hands, your loving heart, your loving ways. Thank you for the gifts you bring into the world each day. The next thing to do is to look at your Open Your Heart songbook. Page 40 is the song It Is Not Enough. What's that? No, this one doesn't have a clap. It is not enough that we are wounded, and it is not enough that we care. We are called to practice loving with a skill we hardly knew was there. Serving others with gratitude for the bounty of our lives. We are called to practice loving with a skill we do not recognize. And it is not enough that we are wounded, and it is not enough that we care. We are called to practice loving with a skill we hardly knew was there. Replenishing grace in the world practice loving with a skill we do not yet know. And it is not enough that we are wounded. It is not enough that we care. We are called to practice loving with a skill we hardly knew was there. Opening to compassion when our minds would have us hide. Then the peace which passes all understanding heals us from deep inside. And it is not enough that we are wounded. And it is not enough that we care. We are called to practice loving with a skill we hardly knew was there.
Thank you, Judy, for leading that. Yes. Okay, our one reading today is our BSUU covenant, which we adopted in March of 2024. It's right in our bulletin, our order of service. Let's read this together. We, the members of Big Sky Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, promise to welcome all who come to us, respect diversity and accept our differences, commit to equity and justice, build trust through active listening and compassionate communication, make decisions collaboratively and democratically, approach conflict with curiosity and patience, remain in relationship, and respond to tension as an opportunity for individual and fellowship growth. Support each other with loving kindness in times of joy and need. Express gratitude for the contributions of all who serve our community. Recognize that building our beloved community requires learning and practice. All right. Lately, it seems hard to come by. Peace. I think deeply about peace because I need it. When I remember to practice peace, I take a deep breath. I drink herbal tea, play music, write poetry, and I try to get along with everyone. Living a peaceful life hasn't always been important to me. 20 years ago, I spent time in a hospital with myocardial infarction caused by my reaction to high stress. That close brush with death woke me to a different perspective. Realizing I do not have the physiology for indulging in deep drama. I can't afford to let things upset me. So I found coping strategies, kind of like psychological protective gear, which doesn't necessarily address the root cause of how I negatively react to stressful circumstances in the first place. Getting at the deeper reasons, the root cause of how we get upset, requires asking the why question repeatedly. X caused Y. Well, what caused X? T caused X. And G caused T. And eventually we get to rock bottom. Joe clearly explained this process 2 weeks ago. I like to think of it as crying profusely through the whole process of peeling an onion down to its center. Lately, preservation of peace with my psychological protective gear has taken a severe beating. I blame paradox. Defined by Merriam-Webster, a paradox is an argument that apparently derives self-contradictory conclusions by valid deduction from acceptable premises. That verbose definition portrays paradox as complex, contradictory, confusing, and amazingly true. I have some examples. Attributed to Socrates, the more I learn, the less I know. Does that mean if you want to know a lot of things, don't learn anything in the first place? From Heraclitus, the only constant is change. What? If everything changes, and I mean everything changes, there is no constant. Interplay of opposites is a part of how paradox works, based on dualistic or binary thinking, like yin and yang. Consider night and day, male and female. So on night and day, we need sleep at night to function well in the day. But what if we can't sleep at night worrying about day stuff? And then we're too tired to do day stuff. Enter gratitude. In the morning, gratitude. Then at noontime, gratitude. In the evening, gratitude. And at bedtime, peace. There you have it. Along the same line of day and night is light and dark. We're often giving light the high approval rating, and dark is the bad guy. It's not that simple. Brené Brown, one of my favorite authors, says that understanding darkness gives context and meaning to the search for light. Consider life and death. From Christianity, from death comes life. A corn of wheat falls in the ground, and in its dying, it grows into new life and produces. With many Hindus, death brings about reincarnation into a new life. In nature, decomposing plants feed the living plants. In caterpillar butterfly metamorphosis, the dead caterpillar cells feed the new imaginal cells, which then form the new butterfly. Some kind of death is required for transformation. In Buddhist thought, there is a dualistic relationship between effort spent in doing versus being. We work hard and accomplish things, and we sit and meditate. Some meditate all day. Some would rather work all day. There is a time for both. Can we do both simultaneously? Can we maintain that peaceful inner stillness of just being while living in action at the same time? We can. Our true nature is such that everything we need is already within us. Yet it takes rigorous self-discipline to develop, then stabilize, and then fully actualize again. A transformative process that takes time and work. Let me tell you about Reverend Robert F. Hardees, senior pastor of the All Souls Unitarian Church in Washington, D.C. for 20 years. He authored an article in the July 2007 UU World, Love the Contradictions. He writes, quote, "When I was in seminary, I had to take a test called the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory." I see notes of recognition. When I sat down with a psychiatrist 2 weeks later to hear the results, he told me, by and large, this is a healthy profile. Then he pointed to a line that plummeted from the top of the page to the bottom. But do you see this? This means that your soul is conflicted, filled with tensions and contradictions. Those tensions can either be a blessing or a curse. They can either stimulate creativity and vitality in your life, or they can shut you down. Seeing my reaction, he reassured me, "Rob, you have to learn to love the tensions that are in your soul." I am still trying to discover what it really means to not merely accept the tensions and contradictions of life, but to love them. What kind of spirituality can help us live with integrity in the midst of the ambiguities, complexities, and disparities of our contemporary world? We need a spirituality that moves us beyond fight, beyond flight. One that sees complexity not as an enemy, but as a friend. We need a spirituality that views paradox as a creative opportunity and contradiction as a stimulant. In the words of Emerson, "With consistency, a great soul has simply nothing to do." After seminary, Reverend Hardy spent some time in South America, and he had an opportunity to study with Gustavo Gutierrez, the father of Latin American liberation theology. Gutierrez was the priest of a large, poverty-stricken parish on the outskirts of Lima, Peru. Speaking from his own experience, Gutierrez advised, quote, "In the midst of all this suffering," and I know this might sound romantic, "I try to be happy," end quote. Reverend Hardy's later reflected in his article, "Eventually, something shifted for me. I have accepted the complex notion that the contradictions in our lives will remain, and that in the midst of those tensions, we must try to be happy and to love the world." A while back, Ken and I watched a PBS program on how little of the universe's dynamics we actually see, looking up at the peaceful night stars. If we were to see the night sky multidimensionally through the entire spectrum of frequencies, we would see active, even violent, colorful forces of energy collide, explode, connect. Polar opposites swirl around, sometimes reaching balance, sometimes touching on an uneasy balance, and sometimes no balance. This is the way of the universe. We get to live within the way of the universe. We get to go beyond our dualistic, two-dimensional way of looking at life because it's never that simple. We get to go multidimensional. From a multidimensional perspective, we can respect the interdependent web of all existence. We can embrace, celebrate, and love the tensions within and among ourselves, accepting one another, encouraging spiritual growth. We can accept and willingly work with opposing forces pushing and pulling within our community. We can freely and responsibly search for truth and meaning. That's paradox. Our covenant is a useful guide as we work at this. We agreed, we promised that we would approach conflict with curiosity and patience, remain in relationship, and respond to tension as an opportunity for individual and fellowship growth. That's the longest piece in our covenant. And I remember the committee spent a lot of time on it. Here's 3 more. We agreed we would respect diversity and accept our differences, build trust through active listening and compassionate communication, and recognize that building our beloved community requires learning and practice. Last January, our guest speaker, Cliff Stevens, discussed the many religious ways of practicing equanimity, comparing it to the still, peaceful spot in the eye of the hurricane. Leave it to an atmospheric scientist to know about hurricanes. Cliff knows a lot about religion, too. Last month, Gemma, in her sermon, Moved by the Spirit, Living Our Syncretic UU Spiritualisms, shared insights from Sarah Campbell's sermon, Moment of Truth. Yes, it helps to borrow from each other. It keeps us on the same page, and this bears repeating. Sarah was talking about how strange it felt to be on her knees in an interfaith service at the beginning of the first Gulf War. She noted how we liberals tend to seek the Spirit and resist it at the same time. But we get our moment of truth when we are brought to our knees. Quote, "The moment of truth is a moment of connection. It happens when we who value mastery of knowledge take a posture that invites mystery. It happens when we who rely chiefly upon the power of our own willfulness to open ourselves to a posture of willingness. It does not happen when we are so full of our own thoughts or opinions that we cannot listen to or acknowledge those of another. It does not happen when we are determined to be in control of everything and everyone that affects our lives." End quote. Here's how grappling with paradox is a spiritual discipline. It helps us resist the temptation of seeking quick certainty when surrounded by complex reality. Rather than trying to resolve or ignore what appears nonsensical, paradox gives us courage to exercise faith and imagination to see, or at least trust, that all these complex elements in life situations do work together. Our spiritual practices dealing with paradox are grounded in that sweet spot, the calm eye of the storm. In our rituals, shared values and principles, and our covenant, at the very center of this calm eye of the storm is our willingness to surrender. Surrender this simplistic conviction that we know everything already. Surrender our two-dimensional desire to control, and instead, gently yield ourselves into multi-dimensional mystery and genuine connection. From that, we can transcend, transforming into a people with power together, bringing about humanity's transformation and ultimately the greater good in a better world. Blessed be. We'll now have a silent meditation. Now we have a time for reflection. Anyone?
Thank you, Karen, for that. It was really good. I was struck by two things. It made me think of the paradox of like when I went to South Africa and I went to the museum and read some of the things that Mandela was saying when he was held in captivity. He said, I was content. I wasn't going to let them take my joy from me and being centered and being peaceful. So even though he was in a horrible situation, he made the conscious effort to see the butterfly that was in the garden, or look out the window and see the clouds. It's mindset. So.
Anyone else? Okay. Oh, Nikki.
I'm going to say the uncomfortable thing that I think that a lot of us are thinking, and it's going to be kind of messy, and I'm not sorry for it. I don't think that we all have done enough in this covenant, in particular with Greg and Cynthia. I think that, and if we have and I'm not aware of it, I think that we should talk about it. But, we have a family, and we have someone who is part of us that isn't here for reasons that, aren't necessarily our business, but I think that we could do more to reach out and to be inclusive. And I came back. I was gone for a year and a half. I came back to the March 2024 service when this was introduced, and I was so happy because it sounded so good. It sounded so great. And I know that we're a group of human beings, and we're not perfect. But we sure think that we're better than I think that we are. And I think that we could do better, and I would like to be in conversation with all of us of how we can do better and be better for each other. Jan brought up a really great thing at coffee the other day, why didn't she know that Sally had surgery? And she was upset about it, and I felt that pain for her, and my instant thing was oh, but there was an email, Jan. She was I saw that, but it wasn't soon enough. I wanted to know sooner. I would have sent a card. And we're not taking care of each other. We're not having dinners. We're not having circles of 8. We're not in community. It sucks. And I don't understand it. It makes me sad. And I could do better. So I will try to do better. I want to say hi to Greg because I know that he always watches and always listens. And that's what I have to say about that. I'm really glad that you brought this up. I also really liked your service about peace and paradoxical peace, something that I think about a lot, and I'm going to think about it more because of you. So thanks, Karen.
You're welcome. Any others? Okay. Let me see what comes next. I keep resolving to memorize the order of service. Someday I will. Okay. We are singing the closing hymn, We Would Be One. It's in our Singing the Living tradition, number 318. thank you for leading that. All right, now we extinguish the chalice. And thank you, Linda, for your help in doing that. So all together, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together